Hi everyone, welcome. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, so it's time for Stamping with Denise. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I'm glad you're here. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and a great start to your week. It was a nice weekend here in Michigan. Weather's been gorgeous. It was nice to get out and about and enjoy the nice weather. While we're waiting for everyone to join, please just a little bit of housekeeping. If you like what you see, please give me some hearts. I really do appreciate it. And Facebook likes the hearts better than the thumbs up for the algorithm. So if you can give me some hearts, I'd appreciate it. Also, if you like what you see, please share my video, comment, share down below, and you might win the project I make tonight. If you're on YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe to my channel and then click the little blue bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And I upload a new video most every Monday night. So with that being said, last week I made these 2 cute cards using that great paper out of the celebration. You know, we only have 2 more days left. Today's Monday, it ends Wednesday night. So if there's something you're wanting to get, don't wait. It's the last call. So I made these 2 cards using some great paper that is available from their celebration. And I'm going to be sending one of these cards out to Kay Phipps. Kay, thank you so much for sharing my video. And I'll get this card out to you as soon as possible. So I think what we'll do is we will switch to my hands and we will get started with the project. Okay, there we go. So tonight I have another fun fold for you. Look at this. Isn't this cute? I saw this and I'm like, I had to give that a try. So I love this angle on this card. It's just so unexpected. It's not your usual. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. Then the belly band just helps to keep it closed. So, okay. What we're going to start out with, this is the polished pink. This is one of our in colors that we've got about, maybe 6 or 8 months left with. And let me find my measurements. This is 11 by 5.5. So this takes a little extra paper than we're used to. But that's because of this overlap here. So I am getting my trimmer out and we are going to score this card. Get my cutting blade out of the way. So we are going to score, like I said, it's 11, it's 5.5 by 11. So we are going to score this at 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to score it at 7 5/8. Or if you prefer, you can just flip it around and score it at 3 3/8. It's the same measurement either way. Give it a nice good score. Okay, I'm gonna set this off to the side, but we'll be coming back to it. And we are going to burnish, or I'm going, use my bone folder to burnish the fold. When you're doing a fold, I don't know if you can tell that it's kind of a, one side's an indentation, that's the valley, one side it kind of stands up, that's the mountain. You want the mountain on the inside of your card. It has to do with the way the fibers have been bent, and it makes it easier. I mean, you can bend it the other way, but it stays closed better and just helps. I mean, like, that's pretty good to, and we haven't even done any work with it. So, okay. So as you can see, this, this is it's gonna overlap a little bit, and it can go either way. I mean, this is a good layout for any kind of card. If you want to do any kind of card, you don't even have to do this fancy cut on it if you don't want to. But let me bring the trimmer back. Now we are going to start, let me take this belly band off of here. As you can see, let me get in the screen. It's right from here and it goes down. So this is an inch down. You can either take a ruler and measure down and cut, or you can use the lines on your trimmer, which is what I am going to do. So if this is where I want to start and I want to go this way, I am going to put my corner up here in the track, and I'm going to rotate it till that point is on the 1 inch line, and then I've got to make sure that's back in the track and that's on the 1 inch line, and then we are going to cut. And if your trimmer doesn't have the inches on the right side like that, that's not a problem. You can certainly do it this way too, you know, cut it this way. So I am going, my 1 inch line is here. I'm going to turn that, put it down here, so that my score line is right in the middle of my track. Now what's going to make this card easier is the precision with which you cut, okay? So take your time when you do your measurements or do your cutting, okay? We're going to go and do the same thing here. We are going to cut, I'm going to put the corner on my 1 inch mark, and I'm going to rotate it until, let me make sure here. I'm going to rotate it. Let me go in a little bit so you can see. Trying to explain. So right here, I'm on the corner is on my 1 inch mark. The score line is right in the middle of my groove here. Can't think of the word for that. That's not what I wanted. And then you're going to cut it. Okay? And one more time. Let's see, where's my 1 inch line? It's right here. See? 1 inch right here. And I'm going to rotate it until the edge of the score line is right in my groove there, my channel. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Am I on my 1 inch line? Yes. And I'm going to cut that off. Now I know that there has got to be a way to use these to make some kind of cool fun card, but I don't know. Okay, let me zoom this back out a little bit here. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So we've got our card. There's our card base, okay? Looks like this one. Okay, so we're good to go. Now we have 2 pieces of designer series paper, and these are 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. Let me see, 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. I'm just double checking here. 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. Perfect. Okay. And the designer series paper, you know me, I love black and white paper. This is the perfectly penciled designer series paper from the annual catalog, and it's got some great patterns in it. I think that one's really pretty. Toward the end of June, I shared with you a video I had done a couple years ago giving you multiple ideas of things you could do with black and white paper. So if you go back and find that, and yeah, it's so versatile. So versatile. I really like using it. Okay, so when you're choosing your paper, you need to make sure, you know, if it's directional like this is, that you're orienting this the right way, okay? So like I said, there's two pieces of this. It's 3 1/8 by 5 1/8. So if you have this oriented, you know, this is going to be our top, you know, up here, and we're going to be cutting down this way. But we're going to use the exact same measurements, do it the exact same way. I'm going to leave my finger on this so I know that this is the corner that's up here. And I'm going to pull out my trimmer again. So I'm going to put this corner on the 1 inch and rotate this down until that corner, no, that's not how I want it. I want this one on the, there we go, on the groove, and this one at the 1 inch. Okay. So, oops, didn't mean to set it down right in the middle of my paper, but there we go. Let's see how that fits. I think that's going to be pretty good. It may not be exact, we'll see. And so now we're going to do the other way. So this corner's going here, and this one's going on the 1 inch mark. This one will be right up here. This is, you know, you've heard measure twice, cut once. This is like double check where everything's placed 4 times before you cut. There we go. Let's see how I did here. Before we come back and do the other one. Let me see, because you can't see it that way. You know what? I think it's pretty good. It's not exact, but I think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna take that for a win. We're gonna go ahead and add that on there. Put it in a spot. You want to make sure you get the corners, put adhesive really well in the corners so that they don't catch on something. And then do your best to get this centered in. Let me see, I'm trying to make this pretty even. And I think that looks good. You know, at least when I look at it on the screen, it looks good. So, okay. Now we're going to do it with the neck, with this piece here. And my orientation, this is going to be this top corner. This is going to be like my score line corner. So one more time, I'm going to bring the trimmer in. This is going to go on in the groove. This is going to go on the 1 inch mark. And like I said, you could, if you want, you can use a ruler, measure down 1 inch, make a little line, and then use your trimmer that way if you prefer. You can certainly do that. For me, I think I would be more apt to make a mistake doing it that way. The key to this coming out well is being precise with your cuts. So, okay, let's see how we're doing here. And remember to watch the orientation of your paper. And look, that one fits really well too. So I'm pleased with that. It's not exact, but I think I am pleased with it, and it's not off enough that it bothers me. And much like all of Stampin' Up's Designer Series paper, or most of it, you know, the back side is more of a geometric or a neutral type design. And a lot of the designs on the back of this paper, although the front sides are floral, the back sides can be, would make great masculine cards. So it's a versatile set. Don't forget about the back side of your designer series paper, folks. I think it's a highly untapped resource. You know, it's right there at your hands. This is our insert. This is just the regular 5 1/4 by 4 piece of basic white. It goes on the inside. Okay, there we go. And I'll tell you, when I was coloring the flower, I just wanted a little bit of color on it, even when it was opened up. The first one I colored was this one. And I'm like, well, that doesn't work because I've cut the flower in half. So when I colored this one, I picked one that was going to be hidden. Then this one ends up being covered by the belly band, so that works too. So just, you know, when you decide on on a card or a flower to color, you know, you might want to do that. So I think I'm going to color this one right here, because that'll be right about in the middle of the belly band. So I have the polished pink blends. I'm going to start out with the light one, and I'm not a great colorer. Oops, wrong point. I don't want to use that point. I want to use the nubby point. And I'll tell you what I do. I'm just filling it in. And I purposely only used one color on this, kind of keeping it, I mean, it's not exactly monotone, but it's just two-tone, and I just think it makes it a little more dramatic. So I'm coloring one in here. And then I want one that's going to be covered up when it's closed, and that'll be that one. But what's nice is this one will be covered up that way, but it won't be covered up with the belly band. So yeah, I would still do it that way, but I still want that one colored. I don't know, it's just kind of a surprise when they go and they open up the card and there's another little pop of color there. Whoops, got a little bit out of my line here. Not paying attention. Let me see if I can get that to, I don't know, where did my color lifter go? I don't know if I can get that out, make that a little lighter or not. A little bit. Okay, that'll dry in a second here. So I use the light polished pink blend. Now I'm going to use the dark, and I'm just going to take some of these lines here and go over them to give it a little bit of interest, I guess, depth. Nothing fancy, just using the lines that are already on the paper. Same thing here. There we go. Actually, I colored the same flower on both pieces of paper. Okay. And the other thing, you want to cut one out to put on your label. You're going to do the very same thing. You're going to color it the very same way. I've got my light blends here. My light polished pink. It's probably, and I just fussy cut out a flower. You know, it was out of the scrap, because this was a 12-inch piece, and I only needed 2 5 1/8 piece, so there was enough left at the end to cut a couple flowers out even. So remember, when you use your blends, make sure that there's something underneath, because they will bleed through. You're okay on our cardstock unless you're using a super dark color and you're going really heavy. And let's do the same here. It's probably easier to color this before you fussy cut it, but I don't like to do much fussy cutting on camera because I cut kind of slow. But anyway, there we go. You can see it bled through a little bit, so there we are. Set that over here, that over here. Let's make our belly band. Now this piece is 11.5 or 11 inches by an inch. We don't quite need all of that, and we will be cutting some of that off. I am going to put a score line at about 3 inches on one side, just to get started. Now when you make your belly band, you really want to be careful that you don't make it too tight, okay? Because if you make it too tight, then you can't get it on and off. So, but this gives you a nice, smooth start there, okay? And you want to use a strong adhesive, and I like the tear and tape for this kind of application. And you want to make sure it's going to be covered up. So if I put a little piece here, see, that works. That'll be perfect. Now, I don't want this too tight, so I'm gonna give it just a little bit of extra, there we go. Extra play, there we go, makes it easier. And I'm gonna cut this off a little bit. It's like I said, it's a little bit long. I want it to overlap a little bit, but it doesn't, but I want it to be behind my label. So I've cut maybe an inch off of there. So like I said, in this case, it's much easier to have it long and then cut it off a little bit. So I'm gonna take a little piece of this and put it on. It's gonna go here. So this piece of tape will go right here. I'll show you where, so you see what I'm doing. This way I know that the tape won't be where I don't want it. That makes sense. So see, just like that. So I can pull that off. Whoops. Tape is trying to come with it. There we go. And let me get this one off here. And okay, there we go. You know, it's not exactly even there, but it's not going to make a lot of difference. It's going to be behind my tag, but I can kind of level it out a little bit. There we go. Put this like this. And again, I chose birthday because I make a lot of birthday and send a lot of birthday cards. So see how that little pink is hiding behind that belly band? I kind of think that's cute. Okay, so now I am using the stamp set Lovely and Lasting. I love this little frame, and then the punch that coordinates with them, trying to get it so there's no glare. Every place I go, there's a glare. Oh well. So I'm going to use obviously the happy birthday. I'm going to use this. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so we want a little cushion underneath. Okay. Where's my piece of paper? My Memento Black ink. Oops, that's what I need. I'm gonna put this on here. Okay, and then I've got my happy birthday. I'm going to put it over to the right so it leaves room for my little flower. Let me see. Hopefully my head's not getting in the camera here. I just want to make sure I get it straight where I want it. Mine's a little crooked on the first one I did. There we go. Oh, let's see if I can get this lined up. I did this earlier. See if I can get it lined back up. Not so good. It's kind of okay, but you know what? I'm just going to flip it over, do it again. on another one I did, I had to, I think I need to ink my ink pad. I think I got some areas that don't have good ink on them. There we go. Try that. Try this again. That's the great thing. Almost every piece of paper has two sides. Kind of looks crooked, but I don't think it is. I don't know. I think it looks okay. Then I'm going to take, this is the lasting label punch. I mean, it's a nice punch even without this little border, but I just think this border adds a little more interest, but it's a great punch even without that border. Okay. Now I'm going to take this little flower that I colored in. Where are my dimensionals at here? Here's some dimensionals. I'm going to put one right on the back of it. Put it right there. It's kind of over my happy. Let me trim that off, that flower there. No, I'm going to move it. I don't like it where it's at. There we go. Move it over a little bit more here. There we go. I like that better. Okay, then we'll put a couple dimensionals on the back where, so I can attach it to the belly band, and we will be good to go. I mean, if you didn't want to do a belly band with cardstock, you could tie a ribbon around it and put a pretty bow on it. I think, again, I think this layout you could use for a masculine or a feminine card, a child's card, any occasion. I think it'd be a gorgeous for a wedding card. So there we go. This is, I think it's called a Trifold angle card, I think it was called. I'll have to double check that. But I hope you like this. Those last minute celebration orders, there's my website and my host code. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you've got any questions. And thank you so much. And you know what? I think next Monday's Labor Day, so I won't see you for 2 more weeks. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great Labor Day, everybody. Bye now.